Hey, Tony Gas is here. Now, as y'all know, last night things got a little crump on the show. What was that? The Oscars, and Will Smith slapped fire from Chris Rock. And my homeboy sent it to me. Like, man, you seen what happened? I hadn't seen it. I was in the car. Can't remember what I was doing, gassing up or something. And then I had my wife send me some videos of it, and I saw it, and then I watched different angles of it, and got to see Jada, the face she made, and which is, it's I mean, you go to those type of events, they got a comedian up there, they roast everybody, like almost every single event. It's like Will and Jada have been in this long enough to know how that goes. Like, that's not something that you really want to take personal, even if you're going through something personally. And I know it was something about, she had some hair loss, and, she just decided to cut her hair all the way off. And then he made the G.I. Jane joke. And it's really like how you take it. And Will Smith was laughing, he was laughing at it, which is something that we as couples do. Somebody make a joke on me, my wife laugh. I could get in my feelings, and my feelings could be hurt if it's dealing with something that I'm actually dealing with. But do you expect your spouse to go on national television or publicly and slap somebody or physically assault somebody? And here's the thing, is like, we don't know where Chris Rock from. We don't know how Chris Rock built. That man could put a hit on Will Smith. That man could wait in the parking lot and say, okay, we finna run this fade for real now. You want to slap me on live TV. I don't want to lose my endorsements. I don't want to lose my opportunity. But now I'm finna walk you like a dog out here in this parking lot. And you don't know how that would have went. And I'm pretty sure Will Smith wrote Chris to apologize. I'm sorry. I'm going through a lot. And I know he wrote that book, but that's just, at first when I seen it, I'm like, okay, I kind of get it, but I get it from what Will did, I get it from a crazy perspective. I get it from that perspective of ready to kill, ready to die. I get it from that perspective of when you burnt out, when you tired, when you fed up, when you done had enough, and you like a ticking time. I get it from that perspective. But from a emotionally intelligent, healthy, whole, and healed perspective, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Like, it would have been way more productive for Will to talk to Chris Rock after and say, hey, did you know my wife actually has alopecia or whatever it may be that causes hair loss? And so for you to make that G.I. Jane joke, and I'm pretty sure Chris Rock would have fell on his knees begging for forgiveness. Like, hey, wow, I did not know that. I had no clue. I don't follow, her life like that. I did not know. And honestly, I looked at her with her hairstyle, with the shaved head. It looked strong. It looked powerful. And I said G.I. Jane too, because that's a bad mama jamma. G.I. Jane could whoop a man behind. So that's really, I saw strength. I saw power. And I just made that little joke. And it's not like he made a joke of like some, weak and feeble and, whatever woman. Like, he made a joke of this really kick butt woman. And so it's like, if he made a joke and compare her to this woman who was like, really woe down and just really like weak and letting men run over her, and like she a streetwalker, like she working on the corner. Like, if he said, hey, I see such and such, and it's a movie of a prostitute, I see you doing such and such part two. That's totally different. But G.I. Jane part two, like, come on now. So but see, here's the thing. And this is what people have to realize is, remember that spiritual warfare. That's spiritual warfare. And certain spirits prey on other spirit. And as deep and prolific as Will Smith's sound, his spirit is not equipped for the spirit that Jada has. Jada have a totally different spirit. And her spirit is so strong that that spirit can command an army. That spirit can have 200, 300 men working for her in the streets. You know, like Griselda Blanco. It's a seductive spirit. It's a seducing spirit that can get people to do whatever it wants them to do. That spirit can seduce parents. It can seduce children. It can seduce spouses. It can seduce co-workers, subordinates, superiors. It's a seductive spirit. And it may not be something, it's not something she chose. It's not something that's malicious. It's not something that she like an evil person. It's just what happens when you exposed to things at a young age, when you go through things in life, when you maybe have been victimized, or you maybe have had to find a way to protect yourself because you were smaller, because you were lighter, because you were prettier. And so you have to create a defense mechanism. And then you have somebody who, when those type of spirits come in contact, and this not about Will and Jada at this point, just spiritual connection and what type of spirits are attracted and drawn to others. The one who cares the least has the most power. And so the spirit that could be more composed and more controlled will have the most power. But the one who has a lot of vulnerability, if a person has a lot of vulnerability, if they have a lot of pain that they have not healed from, I heard a lot of excerpts from like Will's book. It's a lot of people in our world who have gone through some very tough and trying times. And in that time, you become a protector of other people that may be physically weaker, may be physically smaller, but literally you could be a spiritual, you could be very small spiritually, and this person could be a giant spiritually. And giant not being synonymous with good or bad, but just could be, their spirit could be way stronger than your spirit, but you may be physically bigger than them. So you will see a lot of big people become protectors of smaller, more feeble people, but the smaller person has the big spirit and the bigger person has the little spirit. And this me staying away from people saying mental midgets and stuff like that, because it's kind of derogatory to call somebody a mental midget, because a midget is a term that people use, to describe someone that's smaller, and that person could get offended by that. So we just in that culture to where it's a lot of offense going on. And so he said, hey, G.I. Jane Part 2, and out of defense of Jada, if she's going through something, and she going through hair loss, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt. And she didn't look hurt. She looked annoyed. Her face looked like, can't believe you trying me. But it didn't look like, hurt. It looked like, really, out of all these people in the room, you gonna come for me. Out of all these people in the room, you gonna speak on me. Do you know who you speaking on? It was that Griselda Blanco energy. And then when Griselda look at the foot soldier know Griselda just got offended. Hey, you got to go put in work. And I don't care what it's going to cost you. I don't care if it's going to cost you your life. You got to go put in work. So the foot soldier got to go do a mission for that Griselda Blanco energy. And that's how that goes. And it's spiritual. A lot of people don't understand that. It's deeper than what we look at. And this ain't about Will and Jada. I use their name just because that's what they are, the examples of it. But this happening every day. So not just attacking celebrities and talking about celebrities. I'm talking about this for real world application. This happening every day. This happening with men and women, and think about it. And I want you to look around. I want you to look at your friends, look at your family, look at your life, and see where you see this person with this spirit on them have like mental or emotional control of another person who has a different type of spirit. That spirit may be weaker. That spirit may be different, may be a servant. Spirit may be a protector. Spirit may be just a different makeup. And this other spirit is like, hey, it's a defense mechanism. It's a seek and destroy, but out of fear of being destroyed, not even out of maliciousness. It's out of kill or be killed. It's survival of the fittest. It's, I'm not going to let you control me. I'm not going to let you rule me. I'm not going to let you ruin me, because that's what you will do. So I have to gain a foothold and mental control over you so that you don't destroy me, because I've been hurt before, because I've been destroyed before, because I've been used or abused before. So now I have to elevate my game, and I got to use my mental to another level. And that's what we see happening in a lot of relationships today. We see this happening in a lot of relationships, and it's not just rich people. It's not just famous people. It's happening in the poorest neighborhoods, to where certain spirits are attracted to other spirits that they can feed off of. And the weaker may be feeding off the stronger. The stronger may be feeding off the weaker. Both are giving something. They're both giving something. They both getting something. They both are filling a void in one another. They both have voids, and they're both filling voids. It's not whole and healthy. It is hurt or traumatized or bandaged, not healed, but could be bandaged. But because they both have felt pain, these spirits can cause pain. And I see it in a version of this is in every relationship. It's in my wife and I relationship. There's always, in every relationship, there's an element of control. There's an element of manipulation. And you have to recognize it. You got to recognize it. You got to call it out. And it's one of the hardest things in the world to really understand and to wrap your head around. But you have to find this middle ground where you are serving and you are loving, but you're also protecting yourself. So it's kind of like, to use my marriage as an example, my wife, she wants convenience, but she's okay with struggle as well. Like, she can smile and struggle. But if convenience is available, of course she wants convenience. And so my son may have a thing coming up, and my wife takes pride in that, and she wants him to be the best dressed. So when they were going to homecoming, I think my wife on the phone. She got him a suit, and she wanted him to come in fly. So she found some Dolce & Gabbana tennis shoes, and they was gold. They all gold. I wish I could go get them and show them to you. And they cost $1,000. So that's something to where I don't necessarily agree with that, but I wanted to come in stepping hard too. But it was a special occasion. Now, I done bought my son a $700 pair of shoes, $800 pair of Nikes to start school in. And we want them to represent excellence. They got straight A's too. Our sons got straight A's. So across the board, and how they dress, how they present themselves, we don't want us look all nice and them look homeless. And it's what we can afford. But now here's the thing. My wife, because she was raised differently and she went a lot of times without, she could be okay spending more and having nothing, and she could be okay with that. I'm not okay having nothing because I never lived that. I never slept in the car. I've never been evicted. I've never had to split a bean burrito from Taco Bell. I've never gone through a lot of the things my wife has gone through. So I'm not as comfortable at zero. I'm not as comfortable at nothing as she could be. So we may come to a place in our marriage to where, let's say we come to this crossroads and she want to do this big thing for our sons to put a smile on their face, give them some joy. And I feel like that's exorbitant. I feel like it's overboard. So in a relationship, you got to find this ground to where you can serve and say, okay, yes, we can throw a party so that they could celebrate their day. But if we spend $5,000, that's everything we have in our expense account right now. So we can do this party for $1,500, which is still a lot because we probably shouldn't spend more than 10% of what's in our expense account. So finding that thing to where you are serving and you meeting your partner halfway, but you're not completely losing yourself and your own values and morals, and you're not completely going against your own moral code. And see, some people, they will be in a place where their spirit, they won't have that. They won't have that. You got to do exactly what they want you to do, regardless of what it costs you. And that's when you know that person is not for you. So my wife, she may want to do something, or I may want to do something. And if the other doesn't agree with it, we won't do it. We are okay meeting in the middle. And that's what lets me know we're meant to be and that we can make it work. Now, if I go too far overboard if I'm talking to her and I want something done, or I'm feeling a certain way and I become verbally abusive, so to speak, in my words, she is the type that she won't stay and put up with that and let that slide. She's going to check that and let me know I will divorce you. So I have to realize, hey, I got to check my emotions. I got to check my stress. I got to check my frustration. And I got to make sure I talk to her with respect and that I come correct, because she's not going to deal with that. So you see how my spirit is willing to change and grow if I'm in the wrong, and her spirit is willing to stand up and protect herself instead of just letting me devour her. And that's where you got to get to. So what's happening in a lot of relationships is a lot of people talk tough, but then they don't actually back it up. So for Will Smith, an example, I've heard him say, like, I came to the point where I told Jada, your happiness is on you. But then last night when he walked up on this show and slapped fire from another black man, it made the black race look unhinged. It made black males look unhinged and disjointed, disconnected, because we know what happens in that. Like Barack Obama participated in several roast battles where he got roasted and where he roasted other people. Like, we know at award shows, they say some stuff that is really hurtful up there for the sake of a laugh. And they've done it to Drake and Travis Scott or whoever. Like, they make jokes about everybody up there. And it's to make this boring event where people are getting awards to make it funny. But last night, Will say, listen, y'all can't be funny no more. This the end of funny. So going forward, they're going to have to really think about, the comedian or the host going to have to think about, is this joke going to get me slapped? And it's going to change the way they say stuff. And it ain't going to be for the better, because it's going to be boring. Like, I don't think the viewers, you could see it and say, like, man, okay, man, she got a shave. She shaved her hair and you making a G.I. Jane. Ooh, that's kind of borderline, but everything they say is borderline. So you kind of get used to it. Like they might look at Kim Kardashian and make some kind of joke about a tape, about one of those tapes, and they might be talking to Pete Davidson. Yeah, I was wondering if I need a career change. I was wondering if your girlfriend could help me with a particular kind of tape. They might say something like that, and that may really hurt Kim. But that's the devil industry. That's Hollywood. That's how they play. That's what that is. It's darkness. So when you in that darkness, you got to understand what come with that, and you got to be the light. And so they could have went. I don't know if they still got the red table. They could have went to the red table. If they ain't got the red table no more, they could have went to somebody else's table and talked about that, and used it as a teaching moment, a talking moment about how we don't know what people going through. We got to be careful what we say. We can't just be flying off the tongue just for the sake of a joke. And they could have turned it into a teaching moment without Chris Rock being assaulted. Because I guess he knew he could do that to Chris Rock. Because it ain't a lot of men you could walk up to and slap like that. But see, men know men. We could look at Will and tell Will crazy. It's always a duality to a man. Like Will, wild enough, he might slap me when he see me. Now he slapped me, boy, we finna fight to the death. You hit me, he slapped me, we finna go at it. Will talking about he gonna get on the treadmill and you not gonna outrun him, that he willing to die. I believe him. I believe him. But listen, me, I'm doing this to teach. I ain't doing this to belittle nobody, talk about nobody. I'm doing this to teach and to help people understand that we have spirits out here that's at war. And it's spiritual warfare, even in couples, between couples. Because, and my thing is that if his wife was okay with him walking up to slap the man, because I talked to my wife about it, and I was like, so if somebody made a joke on you like that, would you want me to slap him? She's like, absolutely not, never, no. Like, that's what you do at them type of events. Everybody know you gonna get roasted. Like, if you at that event, it's a possibility you gonna get roasted. Like, absolutely not. Like, that looks so terrible. That looks so bad. And she more so about emotional intelligence. And now I could imagine if that was my wife in Jada's seat, she would have been really hurt. She don't take jokes well. She don't take public humiliation well. I don't think any human does. Now, some humans do, but most don't. So, but still at the same time, and I know if that was me, my wife would have been laughing so hard. My little feelings would have been hurt. My little feeling, but would I would have wanted her to go slap the woman for making a joke about me? No, that's kind of overboard. It's like, as adults, we got to, sticks and stone may break my bone, words never hurt me. Like, we gotta get to that place. But for them have been in Hollywood for 3 decades, you would just expect them of all people. Now it's different if she like dying of cancer and he made a cancer joke, but it's like something that, like, I'm kind of aware of stuff going on. I didn't even know that. Like, I read about it on Twitter that she had some hair loss issues and alopecia or something like that. And my wife told me that she read that she was inspired by her daughter to, shave her hair off. And that's not just common knowledge. Like, every single person doesn't know that. So we can't expect Chris Rock. You're not following the journey of another man's wife, So we just can't expect him to just know what Jada was going through in that environment when little jokes and stuff like that are made. But on the bigger lesson, we have to look at our own connections, and you have to make sure that your spirit is not being controlled by another spirit, that you're not doing things that are out of character, that are irresponsible, that are self-deprecating because of somebody in your life who kind of almost has a spiritual control over you, to where you are a slave to them and serving them in an unhealthy way and calling it protecting them. That's the lesson from this that we got to get from this. And I hate to do this, and I hate to speak on this, and I don't like speaking on celebrities, and y'all know that, but my spirit just, I realize it's, I have to share my voice on these things because it's a lot of interpretations of this. So I just want to share my interpretation of it because this stuff does dictate our world. So from that, there will be now, if this video don't reach the right people, there will be a lot of men who start slapping other men at the BET Awards, at the MTV Awards, at the whoever awards, at the Country Music Awards. There will be a lot of men who start slapping the host. And people gonna up the ante. Somebody gonna spit in the host's face. Somebody gonna punch the host with a closed fist. Will hit him kind of with a little weak hand. Like it kind of looked at a little, that's why it didn't phase Chris. Chris was like, and still was talking and still went on and did his job. It wasn't no real, no good. Lift him off his feet. It was kind of like, you could tell Will ain't want to do it and he ain't want to hurt himself. But that his marriage is in a place to where they really, really on the verge, and he didn't want to have to go home that night and have that conversation about why you ain't protect me. And he also didn't want to be a part of this movement because in this cancel culture, there is a sector of people that had Will just laughed like he did and not got up and went and slapped Chris Rock, the narrative would have been, Will is not a man. He sat and watched his wife get clowned, get picked on, knowing that she have a health issue that caused her to have to shave off her hair, and Will laughed at the joke. We need men to protect women. Black women protect black men. We need men to protect women. If Will wouldn't have went and slapped them, that would have been the narrative. And so it's like, he honestly, this a lose-lose situation. You sit there and do nothing, it's a group of people that's gonna have something to say. You get up and go slap them, it's a group of people that's gonna have something to say. Will really couldn't won in that. Really couldn't won in that. But I think at the end of the day, he would have preferred the aforementioned instead of the latter, because to sit and do nothing, it wouldn't have been as bad. Yes, it would have been some people saying, oh, he's not a man, he didn't protect his wife, but I believe majority of the population didn't take it as an attack on his wife because we didn't know what his wife going through. We looked at it as a very strong comparison. G.I. Jane is a very strong woman. I wouldn't want to match up with her. I'm looking at the pictures from the movie right now, and just that look on her face looked like, you don't want none of this smoke over here. And so it's a strong comparison, and I think that's how most people would have looked at it. And so it wouldn't have been, people would have looked at that sector of people who said, oh, Will ain't no man, we would have looked at them as fools. Like, y'all doing too much. Y'all making something out of nothing. Everybody get roasted at these award shows. Hush, leave that man alone. But to go do what he did, it stole from the moment of that Venus and Serena was there for they movie about their father to win an Oscar. It stole from that moment. It overshadowed that moment. It ruined the moment. So it's like, yeah, you got the Oscar, but it really ruined the moment. And now for the rest of history, Will Smith's Oscar winning night will be, parallel with this, him slapping the fire out of another man, another human being. And it's going to forever be tainted. You can't do it over. They're not finna redo this show so that he could receive an award without a moment of emotional weakness, unintelligence. And it just kind of, it is not a good look. And I feel bad about it because it's like, with all the stuff that he put in his book and all the excerpts that I've seen, it coincides with just unhealed trauma and stuff that a lot of men and women are dealing with. And it just represents what a lot of people going through. We all got stuff that's unhealed. And we all acting out, including myself, acting out and doing things that we shouldn't do, saying things that we shouldn't say. And so really we got to shine light on this and say, hey, do your work. Do your work. Because we could talk about Will and use him because he in the public eye, but we all going through this, not all, but a lot of people going through this in our own way. So the same way Will took his pain out and Chris Rock got that slap for the old and the new, like your mama used to say, I'm finna whoop you for the old and the new. I done got some of those whooping for the old and the new. Chris Rock got slapped for the old and the new. And he didn't do enough to deserve to get slapped like that on public television, national television. Now, in behind closed doors, he wouldn't have slapped him like that. In a house party, at a gathering at their house, he wouldn't have slapped him like that. He just would have checked him. So the same way he was hollering from the seat, he could have said from the seat, keep my wife name out your mouth, and put his cuss words in there, everything, and just interrupted the show verbally without going to slap him. But in the heat of the moment, you're going to do that. You know, that could happen. In the heat of the moment, that could happen. Would I have done it? No, I'm not on that level. That's what let me know Will, brother, hey, I'm here for you, man. Let's sit down and talk. Cause man, that's a depth of pain and stress and frustration. You know, I'm here for you, my brother. Let's sit down and talk. Cause I could get it. I could understand the mindset that you got to be in to do that. But that ain't nowhere near a healthy mindset. Give me a call, Will. But hey, take this lesson for yourself, apply this to your life, and do your work so that you not spazzing out on your children, so that you not spazzing out on yourself, on your mama, on your daddy, on your best friend, on your enemy, on your coworker, so that you not going overboard and doing something that you could never take back. Do your work and heal from your stuff so that you could be in a happy, healthy, and whole place, and you can operate with emotional intelligence when you are confronted with adversity or trying or testing situations. So, hey, this is Tony Gaskins. God bless you. We'll talk soon.